Welcome to Bits and Pieces Quilting. Today we are going to do a special binding technique, so stay tuned. Hi, I'm Michelle, and today I want to show you a special unique binding technique to make a two-colored binding. I recently made a sailboat quilt, and I'll put a photo of it in here, and I hope you saw that video. And I wanted to give these sailboats a little bit of flair on the edge. I didn't want to add a border, but I wanted a little something special on the edge of the quilt. And so I thought I would do a two-colored flanged edge binding. And I want to take you through and show you how to do it. So let's dive in. To make this two-color binding, you need two colors. And now this is a little bit counterintuitive, but the largest or the wider, the color you see most of is your smaller strip. And the color you see the least amount of is your wider strip. I'll show you why in a minute, because the way that the binding gets folded, you need more of this to fill in the fold. But you'll see how that works as we move forward. So these pieces, I use a standard 2.5 inch binding in all of my projects. So these smaller pieces are 1.25 inch, and these larger pieces are 1.75 inch. So if you do the quilting math, 1.75 plus 1.25 equals 3 inches, minus a 1/4 inch seam allowance on each piece, and then we have 2.5 inches. So I have 3 projects to bind, which is why I have so many pieces sitting here. So I'm going to start by sewing these pieces end to end, and then I'm going to sew my white pieces end to end, and then I'm going to join them together with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I have sewn my long pieces together because remember I have 3 projects I'm binding, so I've got a whole mountain of binding here. I've just put a 1/4 inch seam allowance down the whole strip, and now I'm going to take it over to the ironing board and I'm going to iron it. Normally I'm a huge fan of ironing my seams open, but in this case I am very purposefully going to be pressing. In my case, it is to the dark side, but in this case, it's to the shorter piece. And you want this specifically because when you press to the shorter piece, you get a little ridge here. And this ridge is going to be really important when we finally machine sew our binding. That's where your stitch in the ditch is going to go. And so by pressing towards that shorter piece, you get a nice defined place to put your stitch line once the binding has been attached to the quilt. So I'm going to take this over to the ironing board. I'm going to iron all of this, and then I'm going to fold my binding in half, just the way you normally do binding, so that you have a regular 2.5 inch piece of binding, and that is going to be our binding piece. Isn't that beautiful? The bright, bright red outer binding, and then that white piping, that little flanged edge. I think that's going to look so gorgeous on my sailboat quilts. And this is why the white piece is bigger, so that it covers the entire back side of the binding, plus the decorative piece that you want to show. And the red is in fact just the smallest amount because that's just the remainder of the outside piece of the binding. So I think that's going to look so good. I'm going to press all of this, and then we'll talk about how to attach this to the quilt. So this is the sailboat quilt that is going to get this very, very fun binding. Very excited about it. But this is a very different process for me because normally I attach my binding to the front of the quilt and I would just line it up along the edge of the quilt like this. I wouldn't worry about the extra backing and batting that's hanging over the edge here. Sew it down with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then roll it around to the back and hand stitch the back. That's the way I always do my binding. But in this case, we have to do the reverse of that. We have to sew this binding onto the back of the quilt so that it rolls around to the front, and we have this great red and white section across the front. So that means I need to trim up my quilt. Now, I have learned over the years that while in a perfect world, and I am not perfect, in a perfect world, I would trim this a 1/4 inch away from the edge, and then that way my binding would flip over and would overlap a little bit and get sewn down. But I have learned the hard way that that actually doesn't work very well for me because I am not perfect. And also because the binding, actually going to sew it right here where our two colors meet, which means we're going to have this little flanged edge that's going to be a little bit three-dimensional. And I want to make sure that I have finished quilt underneath, as opposed to if I run it just a little too tight. So this is a bit exaggerated, but I don't want to open it up and see the extra binding and a raw edge of the quilt top. So for that reason, and then, that means I'm probably going to lose a little bit, and we're talking an eighth of an inch, a 16th of an inch off the side of the quilt. But for that reason, I'm actually going to trim it right at the edge. If it's not 100% perfect, if I have a tiny little bit of batting showing in certain places, I'm not going to worry about that. But I am essentially going to trim this nice and tight. So I'm going to grab my larger ruler. I know that this is sort of hard for you to see. I find this ruler really hard to read. So this is the 2.5 inch mark for when I use it for cutting big strips at 2.5 inches. But what I'm doing is essentially lining up the edge of my ruler along the edge of the fabric, and I'm just going to trim the whole quilt all the way around like that. So I have a nice sharp edge for which to apply my binding. So I'm going to trim this up and then I'll show you what we're going to do. So I have the quilt all trimmed up. This is the front. This is the super fun backing. As I said earlier, normally I would sew the binding on the front and it would get wrapped over to the back. But today we're doing the exact opposite, which is why we've had to trim it. So now the binding is going to get applied to the back of the quilt. And you do this exactly the same way that you would apply binding to the front of the quilt. You just sew this along this edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and then we're going to wrap this all the way around to the front. So I'm going to go sew all the way around, and then I will show you a few tips and tricks for folding this over to the front and then how to stitch it all down. The binding has been sewn all the way around from the back. And then something I never do with a regular binding approach, but I always do here, is I took it to the iron and I've ironed it forward. I want to make sure that that's a nice sharp edge all the way around the quilt. I just put this down on the ironing board and fold this, push this up and hit it with the iron so that it's nice and sharp. So that from the front, this is what it looks like. I've got that raw edge there and the binding sticking out. And then this folds over like so. Isn't that beautiful? And then I actually go around and I clip it because I want to make sure that the amount of red showing is quite even around the quilt. Let me show you what I mean. It's easier to do when I'm not trying to film it. But I go around and I will clip this just so that I can control the amount of red showing. I push it and pull it as hard as I need so that it looks, oops, I'm not on the camera. There we go. So that it looks nice and even all the way around. And then the next step is to take it back to the machine and sew it down. I use a walking foot to do this. And this is why we pressed towards the red in that earlier step. The stitched line goes right in between the white and the red. Go as slow or as fast as you need to, just to keep that nice and sharp, just to make sure that your thread, I'm going to use white in this case, just to make sure that your white thread doesn't drift onto the red. The corners, you fold these the same way that you do when you're doing binding the regular way. So pull that up nice and tight into the corner like that. And then this gets folded over. And I'm looking to get that nice mitered edge. You see that? And I'll put a clip here as well just to hold that in place. And then as I'm coming along with the sewing machine, I'm going to come right into that corner. I will backstitch once or twice just to tack that down, put my needle down, pivot, and then keep going. And it's as simple as that. I never start in the corner. I always start along a side somewhere so that I'm not trying to start and stop in the corners. I don't need that extra stress or that extra chaos. but just to repeat, I'll go into the corner nice and slow, backstitch one or two, pivot with the needle down, and then keep going. So I'm going to go and sew this all the way around. So this is the final sailboat quilt, which I featured in a previous video on how to make the whole sailboats. But what I want to focus on here is the binding. This is the way that it looks on the final quilt, on the finished quilt. I am really happy with it. If we flip this over and we look at the back, there's a few places, here's an example, here's a few places where the stitching to hold the binding down on the front kind of drifts into the red a little bit on the back. But that's sort of the cost of convenience, I guess, for doing a binding like this. If I can just get Jason to move his fingers out of the way, we can show you the corner. Nice tight mitered corners along there, and then the stitching all the way around to give that really beautiful accent in the binding with the white and the red. I hope you enjoyed this binding technique. Normally, I hand finish my bindings on the back of the quilt. That works the best for me, and I really like the clean, polished edge of a hand finished binding. But when you want that extra pop of color, this is a really, really good approach. And because these are kids' quilts, that machine sewing along the edge, I think, is going to add a little bit of extra strength as well. And then the colors just make the whole quilt pop. Thanks very much for watching, and don't forget to make the most of your fabric bits and pieces.